So Japan Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga went to the US and became the first foreign head of the state to meet with President Joe Biden, and it was, of course, a significant event in terms of Japanese politics. Mr. Suga evidently is hoping to boost his approval rate, which has kind of been sluggish since his recent performance has not been, ideal. And so, Mr. Suga is banking on Mr. Joe Biden's support, and but probably he has succeeded. And it is interesting to watch the Japanese media coverage of the Japan-US summit. And one focus was Taiwan, of course, because of this tension between Taiwan and China. In Japan, there has been a lot of discourse on what role Japan should play in keeping the peace in this region. And the second focus was the Tokyo Olympics. There are growing fears and uncertainties that probably the games would not be able to go forward. And since it is a national concern, it is also a really great concern for Mr. Suga personally, because his prime ministership is probably depending on the success of Tokyo Olympics. The lower house should be have its elections at least in October, the latest, I think. And Mr. Suga is planning, I hear, to dissolve the lower house, soon after the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics games, so that he would be able to benefit from the hopefully upbeat mood of the nation at the time. So Mr. Suga was evidently, banking on Mr. Joe Biden to, endorse Tokyo Olympics, and which he apparently did. But it's not a big deal because, after it's up to the Japanese government to, prepare the grounds and proceed with the games, and the U.S. government interest, if any, is only secondary. So it's quite interesting to observe the Japanese media biased as usual and reporting only a tiny fraction of what were evidently and apparently and actually discussed in the U.S. Japan summit. So in order to have a balance, we actually need to listen to what the foreign media say, especially the American media. I mean, probably for the U.S., a meeting with Japan's prime minister is not such a big deal as it is here in Japan. But still, they have different perspectives and angles, and I would be really interested to know these things. But anyway, I'm still in the process of my morning run, so I should go. No Olympics or whatever, I will run.